Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Talking Chargers next up in the AFC West. I forgot to check the odds to see if they were still third. See if they're still the third up, i.e. the second choice.
Oh, that's a good call. I didn't
Broncos might have flipped him, and I wouldn't be surprised because of the Tyler Biadasz injury, which we're going to get into among other cursed Chargers news. But this is a fun team to handicap because I don't think there was any other team that had a head coach. Challenge me if you disagree. I don't think there was another team that had a head coach stay intact that got an upgrade at offensive coordinator more sincerely than the Chargers.
No, I don't think that's.
There's not even a close second, right?
No, there's like I'm trying to think of somebody to like. Well,
second.
You could look at this. It's funny. It
certainly doesn't feel like Sean Mannion is going to claim that crown
right.
from
currently.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Chiefs. This is Chris pricing. Chiefs plus 174. Broncos plus 180. Broncos have almost flipped to first. They're very close to flipping to first, probably because of our podcast, obviously. And then Chargers are now third.
Okay.
Plus 205. A little bit of a drop. Raiders remain fourth, a close fourth at 17-1.
That's going to be a fun Kalshi graph over the balance of the preseason.
It's going to be like
the three-way horse race. It's going to be the horse race.
Braid a girl's hair.
Three-way horse race all season. Awesome. Anyway, AFC West is going to be awesome this year. I'm excited for a lot of these games. And honestly, betting the AFC West is going to come down to sequencing, schedule sequencing, market entry, as we will get into. Yeah. We got into it with the Broncos, who start 5 of their first 6 as dogs. We're going to get into it today with the Chargers, who are double-digit favorites for their first 2 games. And we're going to get into it with the Chiefs in podcast number 4 in this division. But ultimately, I think the Chargers were perceived as one of the biggest winners of the offseason because they retained a coach that everybody believes in Jim Harbaugh, and they added an offensive coordinator in Mike McDaniel, who comes from the Shanahan tree, and was able to make Tua look pretty spectacular for a couple of years there now.
At least for a little bit. And, Tua was a tough hang because of the injuries. And last year, the last year and a half of the injuries to the wide receiver and the kind of the starting to break down. And that is my only knock. My only knock on this guy doesn't have a plan B. He has an incredible fastball, doesn't have a changeup. Like you kind of know what you're going to get. And when it's working and everyone's healthy, it's like you can't stop it anyway. Hey, he's going to throw a bunch. He's going to throw all the running backs at you. He's going to move them around. He's going to have a ton of motion, a ton of guys just relying on yak. And when it works, when it works, he drops 70 on the Broncos. When it works great when everyone's healthy. Just didn't love what we saw when it's like, oh, hey, Tua's not good. And now a couple of your wide receivers are hurt. You can't seem to work your way out of this. It's one of those two where it's a double upgrade. Yeah. I like him better as an OC than a head coach. Yeah. And obviously we like him as the OC over what we had there last year. The negative for the coaching staff is we did lose Minter. I think a lot of people had a lot of respect for what he did. I will say, and this will be the conversation we have about this guy because we'll get into McDaniel plenty. But are you familiar with this O'Leary character?
Oh yes. A lot of thoughts.
He was just on this team 2 years ago. He was under Minter. He left to be the DC for a MAC team. I got to go look it up now. Western Michigan.
Yeah, this is all of the fingerprints of this was Harbaugh's this was Harbaugh's long-term plan, which was he knew he was going to lose Minter and actually wanted O'Leary to get his feet wet in a different environment. And I thought O'Leary acquitted himself like impossibly well last year.
Yeah, I did.
In terms of taking over a dog shit defense and making them pretty good. It seemed like, just looking at
really good. So that was whenever I run into,
he might have a very, very strong pulse.
We'll find out. I mean, you never know with a guy who's never really
actually,
done this level.
Real quick, Andy,
when we get to a guy that I don't know shit about really, because it's like, hey, guy was in college, and then look it up. Like, no, he was on Harbaugh's staff. I'm like, which one of these is right? Oh, it's both. And he left for a year. And then you dig into what he did at Western Michigan, literally coordinated that defense using 2024, 2025, maybe even Chargers tape. He installed Minter's defense up there, apparently. So it's not as if he went to college and started doing some other, hey, we're running a different defense. Now he's going to come back and figure it out at the NFL level. Granted, it is a different game. Things are faster. Things are more complicated. Offenses are tougher in the AFC West than they are in the MAC, I would suppose, but it was a good team. It was 9th in the FBS in scoring defense. They won the MAC championship game. It was a good team, and he's back. It's going to be, just Minter light at worst, I think, and basically said, we're going to run the same kind of defense. We have a lot of the same guys back. So it's not going to be, somebody having to come in and rebuild or learn a system. It should be fairly heavy continuity, you would hope. So I'm not as worried as I was when I'm like, I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Andy. You know where the signal is? It's not even what he did at Western Michigan.
It's that Harbaugh brought him back. Like
Harbaugh hired him, period.
Yeah.
Have you seen Harbaugh's list of defensive coordinator hires?
It's not bad, I suppose. Yeah, when his 3 years up at 4 years in San Francisco,
Vic Fangio.
His Michigan hire was McDonald.
Mike McDonald. Yes, Mike McDonald.
So,
and then Jesse Minter. There's no turds here. Like, this is an absolutely ridiculous run of defensive minds.
We'll give him Mike McDonald being good, Minter being good. So
yeah.
It's crazy because we're gonna shit on Harbaugh about his some of his decisions.
And by the way, like his hiring of offensive coordinators, not as glorious. really loved Roman.
He might have had one just kind of fall into his lap where it's like, even he can't screw this up. Yeah, this guy can just call an offense, and he doesn't. Right. He doesn't. I don't think he wants to be a head coach. I don't think. Obviously, maybe it's different because of the situation. I don't know that he enjoyed being a head coach. He certainly didn't in the preseason last year. Mm-hmm. So might have just been a really fortuitous, hey, there's a guy available. We're a desirable stop. We have a young quarterback. We have some pieces that he wants to see. And we need an offensive coordinator right now. So might have just kind of worked out for him to make the right hire there. And yeah, it's funny too, because Harbaugh is the ultimate case for this guy should be running your offense, or should be running your team. He should be in charge. Yeah. He should be the voice that leads this team. Somebody else should be making the in-game decisions for him. Like, just unstoppable at that point. If you can find it's like, nope, John or Jim. We go to first. We're going to the nerd for that one.
4th down decision making, first chink in the armor, Jim.
32 out of 32, buddy.
All right. So the turnover of coaching, I'm already at war as a Minter guy this year. I have Coach of the Year bets in pocket. I'm expecting Chris O'Leary to step in and do as well with this defense. I'm expecting Mike McDaniel to be an upgrade. A little bit of commentary on McDaniel. I thought his tenure in Miami was pretty, like, it was somewhat predictable for a first-time head coach who had a little bit of, kind of offensive genius.
Kingsbury-esque?
Kingsbury-esque, yeah, sure. Yeah, but just like offensive genius handed the clipboard and given godlike weapons, like it was awesome. And you got a completely impossibly good efficiency out of Tua for the first couple of years. My gut, and I don't have any confirmation in this. This is my gut, is that it all came apart for McDaniel in Miami because of Tua, and
It's a big part of
specifically
your offense.
specifically because of the concussions,
Yeah.
right? Like if there's one, playing quarterback is a cerebral exercise,
It's true.
and if you get concussed
If you
to
have
the point,
applesauce draining out of your ears,
yes, if you get concussed to the
tough.
point where your cognition is impaired, you're not able to be as effective of a quarterback. And I think when McDaniel got there, he had godlike weapons. He had average, capable quarterback play, and he had brilliant scheme. And what I always kind of distinguished his scheme and what was so good for McDaniel was his ability to kind of craft efficient running out of thin air a lot of times, just by using space.
With whoever.
Yeah, with whoever.
He
just by
always had
using
injured running backs.
next man up, like next best running back in the NFL on tape. And it was all just because of his way of using motion. He used motion to the point where it was like the league had to step in and change the rules.
Yeah, it's
it was a little too much motion. But yeah, I mean, he was using motion. He was using kind of manipulation of space to generate plus, hugely efficient rushing attack. I think he still did it last year, even with the change of rules. And I think that, if you have that in your bag of tricks, that's like what makes Ben Johnson special. That's a huge part of what makes Shanahan and McVay special. Yeah. Is like if you have this like relatively high floor because your rushing attack is making the rest of the offense relatively easy, then it doesn't matter what the defensive system is going to be. Number one, they have to play more base. Number two, if they are playing more, light box stuff and more coverage because they're worried about trying to limit your explosives, then it's easier to matriculate the ball down the field if you're running it at 8 yards a clip. So it's kind of the shortcut to top 5 offense, having that level of amazing rushing. And I think when the hire was announced that McDaniel was coming, it was literally like, oh shit. Like if he gets a rushing attack for the Chargers up to like top 10, top 5 level, just based on what he is asking them to do in terms of manipulating space and putting guys in position to, utilize their physical gifts, then now all of a sudden you're making things easy for Justin Herbert, who can attack every part of the field. And that was so on paper, that was like, this is the easiest bet on it that we've seen in a while. Since that has been announced, done a lot of soul searching about, are we expecting too much? Does Herbert have limitations? Are we going to see the same, type of explosiveness without an elite set of skills? His limitations players?
Last year was being on his back. It was if you count the playoff game, which is a big if because that's a big number, it was 60 sacks. He scored 3 points in that game. Like that losing what was it? There was like 6,500 snaps across the 5 offensive line spots last year. Mm-hmm. And like 300 of them were guys who were on the team this year. And two of those are really highly touted, highly picked offensive linemen that you need to play. Like that's where it could peel apart a little bit again. If it's hey, you can't get your guard out there, you can't protect your quarterback, it's going to be a little harder. And that's where I think it might come back to earth a little. But man, that it is exciting to see what he can do with Quentin Johnston, who was
he's got limitations.
I know, but it's not the same fit as like the Tua Waddle stuff. But it's just like, hey, you know where Miami struggled a bunch with when he was coaching and running that offense? Mm-hmm. In the red zone.
Yeah.
And some of that again was Tua, but I think some of that is his scheme relies on space. They never were great in the red zone. Give me a big guy who he's massive when it comes to contested catches. Yeah. Give me a few good tight ends. A couple guys on roster that I think can make catches in the red zone. That's another spot where I need McDaniel to improve and add to his game. And then we can continue to just say, all right, he's in the Shanahan McVay sphere, because I caught some shit from a few people for saying he's overrated, which is a relative term, I guess. I don't think he's bad. I never said like, hey, this guy's shit and it's just not going to work out. It's just we are blowing him right now. Like as a collective NFL.
That's
like,
because there's such a shortage.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Just like relative to the hype, I'm like, let's pump the brakes, because there were issues in Miami, and he needs to work past that. The game, the plan B, the red zone stuff. If that stuff improves, this is gonna be a.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, no, I want to go on record. I don't hate McDaniel.
You can only only so many off seasons can you slurp the same five guys, and in McDaniel in a new spot with a better quarterback was the darling of the cycle of what could be, what might we see, and I have enthusiasm, but it's tempered. I clearly recognize that the weapons that he has to work with in LA are weaker than what he had when the offense in Miami was truly singing. Tyreek Hill was 1-1 when he was at his peak, and there could be some moments where Quentin Johnson is just running uncovered 50 yards down the field, and Justin Herbert puts it on his hands and he doesn't haul it in, right?
Don't put that evil on him.
You kind of there's potential for things not quite being up to snuff in terms of the weapons he's working with, and there's also the fact that the team is cursed and everybody that is counted on to be healthy and available, particularly in the trenches, can't be out there.
It's funny too. We talk about this is what we're slurping because it's the exciting offensive coordinator hire of the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I made a case for I love the Davis Webb thing, but again, Davis Webb is a super unknown. I'm above the market because I'm buying on it, but he has very little coaching experience, and we just don't know. We both even posited that it might be hey, I'm taking play calling back midseason because this isn't working out, and you graduated college in 2018, buddy. You just shit ain't happening right now. You're too young. But like, think about the other hires. Who else are we possibly excited about?
Well,
maybe Mike LaFleur, like Tommy Reese, Declan Doyle, Petzing, Fleury, Dable. David Blah. Like they're just what you should be enemy. Who's I guess be enemy a little bit, but that's kind of a retread. Who else are you even excited about? Maybe Mike LaFleur a little bit.
I guess here's a critical question for you.
Okay.
Would you have been willing to go out on a limb with your perceived pessimism or cooling take on Mike McDaniel if he was taking over as the Seattle OC?
I still would. I'm very.
No, you wouldn't.
I was
You'd be like,
Seattle than you.
You would be so excited. Come on.
No,
come on.
To be fair, I'm still excited. He's here. This is an upgrade on like 28 teams.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I think maybe McVay, Shanny. Maybe
Ben,
like the other LaFleur, Ben, and O'Donnell.
Yeah,
maybe O'Connell. I don't think is a slam dunk ahead of him.
But that's fair. No, that's
close.
Fair.
Like there's like 4 or 5 guys where he's not an upgrade.
I don't mind putting Peyton in ahead of him just because of the length of time he's done it. I don't mind putting Reed ahead of him just in terms of offensive mind.
Yeah, sure.
Like yeah. So I mean Liam Cohen maybe. I would listen to the argument.
Duval.
But we're running out of names here.
Declan Doyle.
Well, believe me, if the Ravens do what they can do and Declan Doyle kicks ass this year, you're going to hear a lot of Declan Doyle praise.
Declan Doyle,
I'm ready to start carrying the flag. Anyway,
Declan Doyle's going to be coaching the Eagles in 2 years. By the way,
the point is, it was an exciting marriage, and it really did kind of steal the show of their entire offseason. The big changes for the Chargers from a personnel standpoint are really just getting Alt and Slater back. Alt, it sounds like, will be back shortly. Slater is feeling significantly less certain.
Yeah. Lingering flare up of a surgically repaired knee.
Yeah, the powers that be who make decisions. Joe Horitz. I don't know if Ortiz. Yeah, for some reason, Joe Ortiz is way off my radar as far as who he is as a decision maker. I just kind of assume this is a Jim Harbaugh kind of is ultimately the buck stops with him. But
he has a big say in things. Yes.
Yeah. So the emphasis in what they did in the offseason was pretty obvious to me. We need to transition this offensive line into more effective players through free agency in the draft. And I don't know. I just don't know that I love the additions at guards. It doesn't sound like they for sure have their answers at guards in terms of who's going to.
They absolutely do not. The interior could be an abject disaster right now. So you need Alton Slater to be 100% back and playing all 17 games. Otherwise, you have a definite issue up front because of and we'll get to the Biadasz injury. It sounds like that's for the year. Multiple ligaments is the early prognosis. Looks like he is going to miss, and you are probably starting a rookie at center at this point. So let's go through some of the rest of the offseason. I mean, not much else to say about last year. 11-6, second in the West, made it to the playoffs, embarrassed themselves, scored 3 points. What's that? New England. Greg Roman fired. McDaniel brought in Herbert, as I mentioned, shitload of sacks. Joe Alt played 6 games. Rashawn Slater played significantly fewer than that. That's a problem. You got some stars, though. You got some scars. Like, good things happen. Derwin James is still a star. Thule is definitely a star. Khalil Mack was pretty good for being 35, I think. 34 at least. He's pretty old. Quentin Johnson wasn't terrible. You had some nice things go on, but yeah, the offensive line was an issue. Some of the interior secondary was a problem, and some of the linebacker play was a problem. So we did add some pieces. Not a banner free agency class, though. Besides, I think the Biadasz thing was a good move, and now it stinks because he's gone. You brought in Cole Strange from Miami, former Patriot as well. He hasn't been good anywhere he's stopped, so I don't love that. David Njoku for a 1-year deal. He's just kind of in your stable. You have 3 tight ends that can all play. Delvin Tomlinson was one of those where he was released from Arizona, I think. And then you said, hey, we could use another nose tackle, another interior guy.
I'll fight for him.
He's big. He has a good run defense mark. Like, you might not get much pass pro or much pass rush out of him, but if you need to stop the run and you need an NT to plug in a 3-4, you could do a whole lot worse.
He's close to among the best in the NFL. I would say he's in the top 10, right? For NTs.
I'd say like 10th, 12th, somewhere in there.
I have him.
And there's not a lot.
I have him actually in like 8th.
It depends how you rate it. If you go strictly nose tackles, or if you go all
true,
interior.
True. Fair.
It's hard. You maybe shouldn't grade them against guys who are more of the Aaron Donald style. I'm an interior.
No. Leonard Williams, Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, all better than him. Jeffrey Simmons is kind of that Aaron Donald-y type of player, so he's tougher. Roy Robertson Harrison better than him. Jalen Carter and Chris Jones are more of the Aaron Donald style.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's not an
Tavondre Sweat. I would have Sweat after him. So I would take Tomlinson over Sweat personally. Anyway, carry on.
Charlie Kolar, another tight end. Again, you just have a big old stable of tight ends at this point. We mentioned Minter gone to Baltimore as the head coach. Chris O'Leary, the previously discussed Western Michigan Bronco, brought in. You lost a few in what? Perriman and Jefferson. Oh, Perriman and Jefferson resigned. Yeah, you resigned a few of the defensive pieces. The Khalil Mack thing, he likes he liked the direction things are going. He says, "I'll come back."
The
And play
defense
again.
is effectively a run it back with Dalvin Tomlinson added,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, pretty much.
These are the guys that started the majority of snaps for them last year.
And then draft class, you took the other Miami edge piece, Akeem Mesidor, in the 22nd pick, straight up going into the rush rotation. Like he is gonna be part of your pass rush rotation.
Buzzy.
Yeah, a little buzzy. He's a fun one. If that's a good defense, maybe a fun DROI bet. I know he's probably about 10-1 because he's a highly rated edge. So you're not going to.
Plus, he's also 1 million years old, so he's got an NFL body already.
Yeah, he's got grandkids. You drafted some depth in the interior offensive line that'll sit behind Biadasz at center. Cross all that out, and Jake Slater from Florida starting at center most likely.
Slaughter time, baby.
You do not have a starting center. Brennan Thompson, Mississippi State, a kind of a speed outside depth wide receiver, tackle depth behind Alt, Travis Burke from Memphis in the 4th round, and then some more defense and offensive line depth, safety from Arizona, Jennison Smith. You could use help in some of those spots because Derwin James doesn't actually play safety some of the times. He's kind of all over the place. He's more of a nickel guy at some points is how this amorphous defense tends to work. Nick Barrett, defensive tackle, South Carolina. He's going to rotate through probably if he makes the squad in the interior. And then Logan Taylor from BC and Alex Harkey from Oregon, both interior offensive line depth, which again got a little thinner. So good thing you got that. Harbaugh runs it back year 3. Mike McDaniel joins defensive line. Mike Elston, I think, came with O'Leary. Double check that. I don't know if he was here still. I think he's a O'Leary guy because they did want to do the one thing they said in the quotes I found from the defensive stuff. That the one thing they want to do different than Minter was be wider and more aggressive on the fronts with the edge rushers. And you went and got yourself a 1st-round edge rusher. You have some good edge rushers, so be interesting to go to more of a wide 9 and have these guys lined up way outside like Bosa used to do a little bit
fun
in San Fran. Could be a fun defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Ortiz retrained as
Ortiz. It felt like the decision making on how to address the skill position room was informed by the vision that Mike McDaniel has, which is like you said, they have a loaded room of tight end and running backs and a bunch of flawed wide receivers. And I don't mean to like disparage a guy like Ladd McConkey, who's a fun young player, but like he's pretty clearly limited if he's getting CB1 attention from the other side. The limitations on all the other guys are pretty well known. Trey Harris is too slow. Quentin Johnson has center block hands, and their depth is questionable. So, I kind of it's funny and fun that we get to answer the question of what would Justin Herbert look like in a good offense this year, or a good offense with a good offensive play caller. I still wonder what would Justin Herbert look like with an elite wide receiver he's throwing to, because like it kind of feels
Josh Allen.
Doesn't it feel it does feel like that, and it kind of feels like we're wasting a little bit of his talent because like I don't want to see him targeting running backs and tight ends. Do you? Even if it's efficient, if we can matriculate the ball type of stuff, and this offense is doing well and scoring, I'm going to be like,
if we could get an
let him uncork some, man.
Even if it's not all Hampton, but if we can get an Achane season out of Hampton where it's just like, oh, we're just getting him the ball in space and letting him do things, and this is a fun offense. I guess I don't care how they get there if I'm betting on them if they get there. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot more fun with wide receiver 1. We should put that on a shirt.
Yeah, we should. And honestly, like there are teams like the Patriots who have too many wide receivers. If I was Ortiz, if I was Joe Ortiz, I'd be making some calls to Foxborough to see if we couldn't pry a Keyshawn Boutte.
If you were Joe Ortiz, this would be a weird podcast because you're clearly biased. I don't think you'd be able to hide it, and your ratings would be much higher than mine. I think you're a little higher than me anyway, but
it would have been clever of me to pretend like I didn't know my own name, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, not your damn name. I'm not 1,000% sure I'm getting it right. That's how I say it.
Okay.
Before we get into ratings, we do like to thank Circus Sports and the Circus Sports.
Yeah, it could
contest.
It could very well be Ortiz with the H is silent.
Ooh, yes, soft H.
Anyway.
We're going to get to it. Ortiz. Why not just spell it that way?
Why not?
Ortiz is a very common last name.
Very common.
Anyway, Circus Sports, a very common name in Las Vegas, Henderson, and Sparks, Nevada, as well as a few other states. But you do need to go to Nevada to sign up for this contest. If you have any questions on how to do that, how to acquire a proxy, or just, how to put together a team. If you are trying to do something like that, hit us up. We can help you out. But we'll be out there next Thursday signing up for several entries into the Survivor and the Millions. I'm not doing a Grandissimo this year. Got burnt last year. I'm kidding. I didn't. I do know some guys that made out pretty well in that.
Stupid Packers.
Stupid Packers. Honestly, we didn't do great in Survivor because of the stupid Packers. We're rethinking our strategy. We're not gonna win this year, but we're gonna get deep and it's gonna be fun. Yeah. I'm going to have a sweat at least. I want to have a sweat at least. I enjoyed the sweat last year with the Millions. Hopefully we can do that again. And we're always excited to talk about the contest as the season go on. So get out there, join up. If you have any questions, hit us up. There's a link in the description to this podcast and this YouTube video. If you need to look at the rules or how to do it or anything, everything's on their website if you do need more details. So check that out. And we'll move on to rating
Great experience.
San Diego Superchargers. Great song.
San Diego Superchargers. Do you think they have to move back to San Diego to break the curse?
They absolutely do. Okay. Not only that, but they have to resurrect the San Diego chicken.
Okay. That was the Padres. That was the Padres.
I know, but he was part of the
San Diego Chargers mascot was the Bolton man. That guy was intense. Intense. He was no nightmare pelican, but that was one of the more aggressive. That was one of the more aggressive
mascots. It's up there with that cake baby.
The cake baby. Cake baby and nightmare pelican were pretty horrific. Gritty's fun. All right.
Nightmarish as a bit. So
Justin Herbert is a very talented quarterback. He is often injured, which makes it tough to kind of parse his data. I just kind of want to remind everybody that last year, towards the end of the season and into his playoff appearance against the Patriots, which sucked, he had broken a finger on his non-throwing hand. He was wearing a club on his non-throwing hand. He was wearing a club. I had to Google the pictures because I was like, wait a minute, was he really playing with the club? He was. And I think that affected his performance a bit. In 2024, he was dealing with high ankle sprain and plantar fasciitis that started in week 3. And really got re-aggravated a bunch during the season that affected him. In 2023, Andy, I don't know if you remember this, he fractured bones on both of his hands. And didn't do great things for his performance. 2022 rib cartilage fracture and a shoulder labrum tear. He is an Ironman. He plays through these injuries. It affects his performance. It's part of the data sample. Just know it, acknowledge it. And the fact that he is so frequently pounded into the ground because he's behind an offensive line that shouldn't have quit their day jobs as plumbers and electricians is a huge part of the equation. And that looks like it's going to be part of the equation this year. So I don't think you can realistically take the highlights that you see from his overall performance and use that to anchor an expected price going in. But I'm definitely, still a believer that he can do it all and deserves, at least top 10 consideration here, especially paired with Mike McDaniel. So I'm coming in with a number that's even higher than the Rams number here for QBOC at 7.5. What say you?
Flat 7. My hesitancy was the sacks, and it's a hard puzzle because on one hand, good quarterbacks can play behind a bad line and not get sacked 60 times. They can find their way out of it. But part of that equation is they have an offensive coordinator that knows what they're doing, that can kind of help him out with that. Like, hey, he doesn't have any tackles. We should run a slightly different kind of offense. He had one of the slowest, times from snap to throw, especially with that, that bad offense. Like I think part of the equation was Roman. So I don't know if I want to ding him too much, but at the same time, it's still a little bit. And I don't know that he's ever going to be 100% healthy. You break that many bones, this shit just hurts forever. Yeah. So I'm fine with him being very, very good, not quite elite. We'll see. And then, most of my upgrade is McDaniel.
He looks healthy now. And I think that is important.
Too much beer in the offseason too.
I have him rated, just for context, I have him rated below Pat Mahomes, which we'll get to next. I have him rated below Drake May. I'm just naming AFC teams. I have him below. I have him below Joey B. I have him below Lamar and Josh. But they're clustered pretty close. There's not that much separation. These are all awesome quarterbacks. Awesome quarterbacks.
I'm gonna put Aaron in there too, because he's reunited with his family, and I think he's reinvigorated. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Oh,
I'm kidding, but I'm excited that he talks to his family now.
Yeah, that's a good outcome. Happy for everyone involved. So that's the biggest number for me of any of the numbers for the LA Chargers, and it's the most important number in coming up with a fair. So Chargers number for me is going to be good, but is it going to be better than the Broncos or the Chiefs is really the question. Skill position has a huge part to play in this. As I mentioned, I'm really, really cool on this wide receiver room. I like the tight end room. I like the running back room. I'm prepared to love the running back room. I'm prepared to love the tight end room. It's going to take a very, very consistent, positive signal through the first half of the season for me with this wide receiver room to put the skill position group overall above a 5. So I'm starting out with a 4.2 for skill. What about you?
It's same. We every once in a while
we hit the number.
We have the exact same number. And it's funny because I actually had nicer things to say about Quentin Johnston. I think he is a nice piece.
His route running is excellent.
Yeah, he's able to make contested catches. He's sometimes not able to make uncontested catches though, which is a problem. Lad McConkey's good, not great. It's nice to have a slot piece that can play like that. He has been great. We've seen good games from him. And then it's kind of a question mark at the running back room because Hampton's young and he grades fine, but the guys behind that, it'll be interesting to see how he uses them because much to the chagrin of the fantasy football community, it sounds like it's going to be a just mix it up, hot hand, I do what I want kind of thing by McDaniel with the running back room. So it's hard to actually map out a touch share for that. And the same thing with the tight end room because like Njoku is a 1, but I don't know that they're listing him that way. Gatson is very good in his own sense. So kind of a weird, it was a weird one to rate for me. And I think it does go up quickly if we see it's going to be on McDaniel again. It's going to be on like, how are we using McConkey? How are we using Trey? How are we using QJ? And how's the running back room shakeout? This could quickly go above the 50th percentile. So,
okay. It's going to take me a little more. I'm going to need to see more, especially because they play such easy teams early on. If they're doing great, I'm not going to overreact. All right. The offensive line, back when a lot of public, ratings
I had to
came
text
out.
you about this today.
Yeah. Back when a lot of the public ratings came out, the Chargers were pretty consistently considered a top 10 offensive line, I think because people were so excited about seeing the tackles back and healthy. Since that point in time, the news and the clouds around Rashawn Slater's comeback have been very concerning. And then it's worth reminding folks, Rashawn Slater's injury was a patella tendon tear. And rupture.
Yeah.
And there are a handful of injuries where you just put a little star, and you're like, there's a world where this, or I shouldn't say there's a world where this, but there's a the 9-0 chance that this truly does affect his performance, not just in year one coming out of it, but he's never really the same player. And the fact that he's having issues now is concerning. And I think that in general, the red flags, the voice in the back of my head is not kind of screaming everything will be fine for Slater. He may be available for week 1. I'm going to need to see him perform at the same level we saw before the injury to say he is a slam dunk at your left tackle position. The Biadasz injury loss is brutal. The 3 players on the interior offensive line were already a bit of a question mark in terms of their contribution. It felt like Jake Slater was on track to take over the left guard position.
Left guard, yeah.
Yeah, and now he is almost
That's
certainly backfilling your center position, which means we're back to question mark for the left guard. No matter how you grade these 3 on the interior, I think they're all minuses. So you're going...
Yeah.
Minuses and inexperience now across the interior, which means if you're facing a team that can generate quick pressure, Herbert is going to have, maybe you have the right tools in terms of running backs and tight ends to have a lot of quick ball out of his hands, get rid of the ball offense, but they're going to need it, and that's a concern. So I'm at a 3.9. Is that what I said? 3.8?
3.8 is what you said. I'm at a 3.5. So, I mean, you didn't say anything I wasn't going to say. They have been collecting other teams' high draft picks that didn't work out. They have Trevor Penning on this roster, too.
Oh, shit.
Who I thought maybe
Did he play last year for them?
I thought maybe he would compete for the left guard spot, too. And then it seemed like maybe it'd be Slaughter's job. Now Slaughter's definitely going to have to step in at center. But yeah, I don't have a strong take on Coyote Iwasika.
Okay.
I know Cole Strange is dog water, and then we have the rookie center, and then really, really, really good tackles. But at the same time, Slater has missed a bunch of practices now. I mean, we're in the 3rd week of camp. Some of it is, hey, it's a veteran rest day. And it's like, is it? Because then there's, it's lingering flare up is what we're thinking here. And when you miss 5 straight practices and you're sitting out and you had that 8. Yeah, 8. I had, this is my old notes. It's up to 8. Yeah. This is an issue because, as you mentioned, it is a bad injury. I had a partial tear of my patellar tendon, where I just dislocated my kneecap and I didn't walk right.
No.
Like I couldn't, it was, crutches for months, fucking around with that. Oh. And then even 6 to 8 months later, it just wasn't, your knee doesn't feel solid. Like there's just a little bit of movement left in it. I don't know. Maybe it's better if you actually tear the whole damn thing and they replace it, but Jesus. Yeah. It's a little worrisome. This is a further downgrade if we lose Slater and have to go to, I don't even know who you have penciled in there. It might be Trey Pipkins the 3rd at that point. So we could probably downgrade a little bit further. So,
dude, Pipkins is missing practice too.
So Mr. Isaiah Worldwide. I'm not putting Penning in at tackle. Travis Burke.
Dude, Penning's pass blocking grades last year were
actually
to the
no
XFL, UFL.
Isaiah World, he was a not UDFA.
He's out too.
Yeah, he tore his ACL in the college football playoffs. So he's probably not playing until.
I mean, there's
anyway.
Like I hate to speak this into existence, but October, the Chargers offensive line could be we were forced to move Joe Alt to left tackle and we're starting 4 rookies. Right?
Yeah. That's
how this could shake out. Has any team ever started 4 rookies?
Guess what, Logan Taylor?
Has anyone ever started 4 rookies on the O-line?
I don't know that you draft besides the Burke guy. I don't know that you have another tackle like Hart.
Well, no, Burke slides up to right tackle. Alt moves over to left. Slaughter is your center, and then Logan Taylor and Alex Harkey are your guards.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun for
youth.
We talked about all this fun, like, hey, it's gonna be a fun offense, and
that's no fun.
We get a year where we're like, hey, we can't get sacked 60 times. Well, guess what? He didn't. He got sacked 73 times.
Well, all told,
that's what we're gonna run into.
All told, my expectations are you're dealing with a 58th percentile offense, which is good enough for 15th in the NFL. As we flip over to the defense, Andy. I love the continuity here. The strength of the defense is their coverage, from what I can tell. Derwin James is an absolute monster and a perfect kind of player for just elevating everyone around him in the secondary. Tarheeb Still and Elijah Molden, I had really good coverage grades on for last year. Tony Jefferson was solid. Cam Hart is solid. The fact that Cam Hart is your weak link maybe is like kind of crazy good. Their depth is kind of good. And in general, like I'm, again, not going to doubt the ability of a Jim Harbaugh hire to have his guys in position to succeed in the secondary. Decent chance that they, like as you mentioned, I had that note too, they're going to potentially play more, less, kind of extra defensive backs on the field, fewer light boxes, I guess is a fair way to say that. And that should help the run stop. That should help the pass rush. So I'm going to have higher numbers than what we saw from this unit last year in those two. I like Dalvin Tomlinson as a run defender in the middle next to Taylor Tart. It's going to be very tough to run on the interior against this team. I have a great coverage grade for linebacker Dion Henley. Khalil Mack is still an absolute monster. Tuli Tiapolotu is a little overrated, but maybe a little overrated as a pass rusher. But again, you have Akeem Mesidor as an off-speed pitch there. So I have this grading out as the 7th best defense from a personnel and very balanced. 5.7 for me for run stop, 5.8 for pass rush, and 6.1 for coverage. Yeah, basically 6.66.
Tui Pelotu gets a lot of love because of the number of sacks, and that sometimes it's tough to, it's like when a cornerback is in the right place at the right time. They still have to be a good cornerback to get interceptions, but sometimes it's like, hey, this isn't the best cornerback in the league. He just has 8 interceptions. Kind of the same thing. Tui Pelotu is very good, but he put up some sick numbers, and he's actually in a bit of he's waiting. I think was going to hold out. He didn't hold out. He participated in practice, so the holdout risk is gone. I did want to mention that Tarheeb Still is dealing with something minor where he's working through it. Kind of.
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's major. He missed some practice and then he returned in a limited fashion, and he's just starting outside corner. So keep an eye on that. If that lingers into the season, obviously the major injury is still, Slater and Biadasz, but I had Quentin Johnson got banged up in the joint practice. Seems like he's okay. Still seems like he's working his way back. And then, that was kind of it. The Lad McConkey hamstring from earlier in the summer is fine. And Joe Alt seems fine. After obviously
that was an ankle. That's
it wasn't the same
Slater. That's like you put a star next to the Slater to monitor. You put a check next to Alt. That
Alt should be just fine. So real quick, my defensive numbers for the LA Chargers are a tab I just closed. So we're gonna.
I got you covered. How about that?
Yes, actually, that would be nice. So my run stop's a little lower than yours, and I do like TR Tart. I'd liked I like Tomlinson added, but I don't have very good grades on at the linebacker level. Henley didn't grade well. Tooley, we'll just call him Tooley, is not great against the run. He's kind of a one-trick pony pass rusher. So it's a little below average. I'm a 4.5 there. Pass rush, I'm at a 5. That could go up depending on if Max still has it, if Mesidor steps in and actually contributes right away off the jump. I think I should probably be a little higher. You are. I'm at a 5. And then coverage, I'm at a 7. I'm higher than you.
Yeah,
this is good.
That's good. That's actually a good confirmation for me. I wanted to go a little higher, and I turned it down to 6.1 just because I was nervous that the scheme was going to affect it a little.
I mean, like Cam Hart, bit of a problem at times. Like he's soft on the outside there, but still is very good. James is very good. Molden's tough at times at free safety, but for the most part, it's a good scheme, and it can be a very high-end coverage unit, especially if we continue with a heavy zone. It sounds like, again, continuity, O'Leary. If it just turns into Minter continued, then I think we're going to be fine. We're close on special teams, and we're pretty close in our overall ratings. I have it as a 54th percentile team. You have it as a 55th.
Yeah.
And
plus 1.3 for you, plus 2.4 for me. Worth noting on coaching, we are far apart. I find Jim Harbaugh's repellence to making the correct decision on 4th down unforgivable.
Yeah.
Everything else he does seems to be quite excellent, but and actually, you know what? You want a positive spin zone on this, Andy?
Yeah.
His 4th down decision making in 2025 was worst in the NFL. It was less worse than 2024. So he's trending in the correct direction, right? His 2024, he was last with like a bullet and left so much win probability on the table. It was almost unforgivable. 2025, he was still last, but it wasn't quite as bad. So good. Hopefully he's trending in the right direction. And you know what else? If you have a phenomenally good, efficient rushing attack. And actually, I'm surprised this didn't come up in your McDaniel takedown or takedown defense. McDaniel does suck in short yardage for some reason. I have no idea why.
He needs space. He needs space.
But even like 4th and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 3rd and 2 at the 50. Like for some reason they struggle, and I don't understand why. Anyway, so that's the one clear and obvious weakness.
I do keep playing with how I rate coaching, and I'm struggling with it, and I shouldn't waste so much time on it because it's such a small percentage of it. And even the guys who are the worst in 4th down are costing their team like 6 points over the course of a season. It is, but it depends where those 6 points happen. If they all happen in games they lost by 1, and you're gonna be well below your Pythag, and you might miss out on a better playoff spot at that point because of it.
It's a fair point. The schedule for the Chargers has some problems. We got some problems. The
reverse opening.
Yeah, the opening 2 games. My guess, by the way, is that the Raiders probably lose to the Dolphins in week 1. And that helps accelerate the Fernando Mendoza timeline. And then that week 2 game is going to be Chargers in the 10 to 10.5 point favorite zone. So I think you're opening week 1, week 2 at home as 10-point plus faves. Then, boy, oh boy, are we going to test this team. This stretch from week 3 to week 8 is among the more heinous stretches of any team in any schedule. If you want to add 9 and 10, tack that onto that, like they are going to war here. They are it. And you know what's funny about this is it's bouncing around. Buffalo week 3, elite quarterback, good luck. Seattle week 4, elite defense, good luck. Denver week 5, elite defense, good luck. Kansas City week 6, elite quarterback, good luck. Out of the bye, Los Angeles Rams, elite quarterback and an elite defense, good luck.
Yeah.
Week 9,
Houston,
elite defense in
Baltimore.
Houston. Good luck. Week 10, potentially an elite defense and an elite quarterback. Good
and
luck.
Look at all the pink.
And so many of those
All
games,
those teams
you
are
have a
coming
rest
off.
disadvantage.
All those teams are coming off bye or a big rest advantage. They are
crazy.
going to hate fuck the Jets.
Crazy.
Just like finally we get to play a bad team.
Oh my goodness gracious. Assuming that there are still healthy bodies on the Chargers come November 22nd, I think that's probably the bet on point. But even then, like New England Tampa is not a lovely back-to-back.
No.
Jets,
And then
Vegas.
the Niners in there, and then a really
Niners
tough
in
closing
there.
stretch.
Kansas City, Denver.
At Denver to close the season.
I gotta tell you, man.
Cold, not great for. Is this an indoor team? They are.
If this was a fully healthy squad, offensive line fully healthy, if they had made an addition at wide receiver, and we were sitting here saying, man, like all of the enthusiasm and excitement for the Chargers is warranted. Even looking at this schedule, I would be like, we got to pump the brakes, buddy. Like this could definitely go sideways. They're either going to be like perceived as well below what we thought they were preseason if they're losing games to Buffalo, Seattle, Denver, KC, right? Like how many of those games, like again, realistically, you probably lose two or three of Buffalo, Seattle, Denver, KC, which means you are 3-3 or 2-4, right? Or I guess you're 4-2 or 3-3 at the bye. You probably lose that game to the Rams, like Myles Garrett up against this offensive line does not feel fair.
What if Aaron Donald's back? And you have
Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett.
Aaron Donald versus
good
three
luck.
rookies in the middle or
good
something.
Luck. So like at that point, there's for sure a market correction where the Chargers are like probably rated below their fair. And so it's at that point, it's going to be just picking your spots to try to bet on them when you can count on their, relatively, like well-coached defense and, high floor rushing attack to kind of get them some wins against maybe some of the closer calls on their schedule, like Houston, New England, Tampa, right? San Fran. So, there's definitely in my mind scope for catching the Chargers as small dogs in some of those games if the market overreacts and they're not like 1.5 point favorites against Houston, if they're like 2 point dogs there, if they're like dogs against New England, dogs against Tampa, potentially dogs against San Francisco, like that kind of interests me as far as when you would want to buy low on these guys. But the way that the schedule is sequenced and the disadvantages on here to me looks like they've kind of been punked that they're not going to make the playoffs this year.
2 of their road games out of all of them are indoors. The rest are outdoors as an indoor team. One of their road games is just in their home stadium. That's true. That's funny.
True.
That happens every once in a while. We get
Giants game. It's the lowest home field advantage in all of sports. Chargers hosting the Rams. Yeah. 3 trips east: Miami, Tampa, Baltimore in the second half of the schedule. You got to go to Buffalo east early, followed by at Seattle. That's not a lovely back-to-back travel spot. Nothing about this sequencing to me feels like it is leaving the door open for a surprise. We are winning the West. We are getting a 1 seed.
If they're the 7 seed, I'd have not a big probability, but there's a distinct probability they're the 7 seed. And the team that wins the division is the 2nd. So there's a distinct possibility they play at Denver 2 straight weeks.
Ooh, that's
kind of fun, isn't it?
It's kind of fun just because of the matchup, but God, I hate when that happens.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It makes the week 18 game such a it just cucks that week.
It's like, man, if they lose this game, they got to come right back here again, Jim.
Denver is locked in the 2. The Chargers are playing their way to come back next week, so they're gonna have to leave all the good plays on the field today.
Leave the equipment here.
Yeah.
Just get rest and come back to that.
You're already, just stay acclimated to the altitude.
Oh, I would definitely just I'd go to Air Force and hang out for a week.
Sure. All right, man. I think honestly the schedule has thrown any and all cold water on trying to get any kind of preseason features on these guys. If you are going to be a smart ass trader and you're going to grab some Chargers West now and hope that they win their first 2 games in Denver, Denver and KC one of those teams will lose. If the other team that wins then loses week 2, you could have, a 2-0 lead on the division heading into week 3 and sell that position maybe for a couple cents. But I'm not even remotely considering that. No. I don't want to extend this too far because we've already got an hour. But if the Chargers don't make the playoffs this year, they're expected to take a step forward. Mike McDaniel joining the crew, expected to take a step forward. They could put up great efficient statistics, be the top 10 DVOA type of team in both sides of the ball. We wouldn't be surprised by that and still be 9-8 and miss the playoffs in a very, very competitive AFC. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of tough teams.
Is there then, and in my mind, there's not enough fan pressure that people are going to really turn on Harbaugh, on McDaniel, on Herbert if that's the outcome of the season. Does that sound right to you?
There's no fans. Who's going to do that?
Right. There's the idea of this just isn't working, right? They're not going to blow it up, right? This is setting up as a decent bet on team for 2027.
Yeah. If you want to get ahead of it like that. I had to go look up Mesidor quick. Mesidor's 14-1 defensive rookie of the year. Just thinking of ways to bet on this team. I wish that were a little bigger. I kind of want to see what his role is, but I like a pass rusher.
Hell yeah.
Pass rusher this year.
Yeah. All right. We went over.
Let's kill it.
That was a fun one.
Kill it. Go talk some Chiefs.
Maybe next year, Chargers. Maybe next year's Chargers fans. Chargers fan? That one Asian lady? That one Asian lady?
An Asian lady. She's a Vikings fan, apparently.